Welcome to Reader Seeks Romance Channel's Romance Roundup. I am Liz Donatelli.
And I'm Libby Kay, author of the sweet romance series Buckeye Falls.
Libby and I are excited to share cozy romances to add to your fall reading lists. If you're listening to us on Podbean or your podcast app of choice, then be sure to like, share, and subscribe to Romance Roundup. Also, watch Romance Roundup on Reader Seeks Romance's YouTube channel, which is the only place you'll find exclusive bonus content such as episode teasers, books and bookish giveaways, extra book recs, and romance author guests. Be sure to like and subscribe. Libby, let the roundup begin.
All right, Liz, giddy up. Okay, so the first one I'm going to talk about, I read way back in 2021. Do you remember that time? My God. So the first one I have, and isn't the cover just adorable, is Wild Love by Lauren, and I'm going to say Arcado, and I hope that's Arcado, baby?
I would say
Arcado. Arcado. Let's go with that. And I'm sorry, Lauren, if you're watching. And this came out from Berkeley in June of 21. And I think I actually read it as soon as it came out because the cover was so gorgeous. And I just love small town romance, which many of you might know by now. So the reason I am recommending this for our fall cozy romances is this is the perfect brain candy for a lazy weekend read when you want to be, wrapped up in all your favorite blankets with a mug of tea or hot chocolate. It is one of my favorite tropes, which is the big city woman coming to a small town. She's escaping her cheating boyfriend and she's looking for a fresh start. So she settles in a town in the Adirondacks up in New York. And I should mention this is also the first in the Forever Adirondack series that Lauren wrote. So, which, spoiler alert, I read the whole thing. But so she comes to this small town to escape and she's looking for, of course, no romantic connections at all, which, I love that. And so things get complicated right away when she accidentally hits and has a fender bender with the town mechanic, who, of course, is gorgeous and surly and everything you would want in a small town mechanic to be.
I would like to see more mechanics in romance.
Yes, it always seems like it's billionaire CEOs lately, which there's nothing wrong with that, but I definitely, I like a little variety.
Yeah, I would like, more mechanics, like mechanics of all different things, cars, water heaters. Because as I get older, I value people in the service industry even more so now that I have a house. So that's just a side note. Continue.
Oh yeah, no, but it's the skills I don't have and would love to have. So, well, not maybe for me, but having my close vicinity.
Yeah. And these services are expensive. So if you have a romance with one of these service providers, then hey.
Fixing your car, please.
Yeah,
just spend a small fortune. Anyway, to the good folks at Mazda. But so anyway, Sydney meets Sam, the hot mechanic, and the cool part is that she is actually going to be working at her mother's bookstore, which I just love as a premise anyway. So she's working at her mother's bookstore, which is called The Loving Page. And so the story is obviously about her and Sam falling in love, but it's also with her finding a new passion and kind of revamping her mother's bookstore, which romance reader doesn't fantasize about owning a bookstore in the small town in New York in the fall with a hot mechanic. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So it's, like I said, it's just really super cute. It has the grumpy sunshine trope. It has that whole afraid to fall in love trope. There's a bunch of small town shenanigans with the secondary characters who, as I mentioned, are going to be books 2 and 3 in this series. And for this series, as soon as they came out, I read them and was obsessed. I was preparing for this episode, I was like, I need to see what I gave Goodreads, and it was all 5s and just like giddiness because I just love the series so much. So I haven't read anything else by Lauren, but I'm hopeful that she'll keep writing because I think it's been over a year since she's had a release, and this is the type of thing I think of when I just think of like a quick read for a weekend. So this series would just be perfect for that.
I love everything that you've just said. It has all the hallmarks of a true cozy romance.
Exactly. No, it's perfect. And I don't know about you. There's something about a mass market paperback I just find very charming. And so and again, it has, I'm sure the same word count as a trade paperback, but there's something about it. It's just like, I can devour you in one sitting.
Agreed. Mass market paperback is the coziest print format you can find.
Agreed, hands down.
Yeah.
You heard it first.
That's right. Only here on Romance Roundup.
So what is your first fall cozy that you're going to tell us about, Liz?
Well, Libby, when I think of fall, I think of crisp orange leaves, pumpkins, and going back to school.
Oh, I'm excited already.
The Do-Over, a second chance rom-com by Suzanne Park, published by Avon in 2023, is where I'm beginning my fall cozy romance journey with you today.
All right, I'm ready.
So I would categorize The Do-Over as a rom-com that also has a toe in women's fiction. There's a little bit of a crossover, and I see that more and more with romances lately, is more of a women's fiction crossover. So there's a bit of that in The Do-Over. So main character Lily is a best-selling author of books on motivational career advice for women. And she is offered a dream job at a business or marketing firm. I can't remember which, but it's her dream job at a big firm. But there's a problem. Lily discovers that she is a few credits short of graduating college. I have to say that this is actually one of my greatest nightmares.
Yeah, I think people actually do have nightmares about that.
Oh, I still have lots of different nightmares about me skipping class so much that I can't graduate, different things. Reading The Do-Over actually cured me of some of those nightmares that I was having quite frequently.
No way.
So I feel like if you have nightmares about having to go back to school and graduate, then definitely read The Do-Over. But I digress. So Lily needs to fix this before she can start her new job. So she returns to college, the same college that she thought she had graduated from, and she needs to take a computer science class. That's what she needs to take to graduate. And she learns that her teaching assistant is her college ex-boyfriend, Jake.
Ooh.
Yes, but Jake still looks adorable. So that's good for her. You know, it would have been really interesting if he looked nothing like it, like he really didn't look clean or,
like weird hair and a big beard or something.
Yeah, I think it would have been really cool for him to be disheveled and have her love him in his new body. And what was that?
In his new normal.
In his new normal, exactly. But he's still very cute. Okay. So Lily and Jake reunite and sparks fly once again. And she also, besides falling back in love with Jake, she does certain things differently in her college career. Like she participates more in campus life, which she hadn't done the first time around. So I thought it was a do-over in all the senses of the word do-over. She did over, college in a more satisfactory way, more satisfying way. And she got the boy who got away the first time.
And how long was the gap between her thinking she graduated and going back?
That's an excellent question. And I was going to actually try to research that, and I didn't. I think it was something, I want to say it was between 5 and 10 years.
So it wasn't last week. This was.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, it's been a while. It's like, I think it might have been something like 5, maybe less than 10, 5 years, 8
Works
years.
For me.
What's funny is I was like, I really should nail that detail down. I'm like, oh, nobody's going to care.
Well, old Libby cares.
So first off, Suzanne Park, the author of The Do-Over, is a former stand-up comedian.
I didn't know that.
Yes. And I've read her work before. She always does a fantastic job of bringing genuine, funny dialogue and situations to the page. So right there, it's definitely going to bring a smile to your face. The cast of characters are Korean American, as is Suzanne. So The Do-Over contains a lot of delicious descriptions of Korean foods and cuisine, and scenes of characters connecting through food as identity. The main character Lily's parents are immigrants. So the book explores Lily's first generation mental health issues as they relate to generational trauma, which is really interesting to explore. Second chance romances, and let me know if you agree with this, Libby. I think they're one of the trickiest, most challenging love stories to write, because the author has to write a believable romance from the get-go, like make us believe they fell in love at first, then have a believable breakup, then have them reunite and fall back in love in an authentic way. So you
have to keep them both likable, because if they broke up, rarely in romance books have I read where one of them has cheated and gotten back together. So it's usually not anything that monumental that they have to get over. But it's because I love reading. That's one of my favorite tropes, is second chances. But it's tricky because you don't want to make them too unlikable. But at the same time, there has to be something they did that means they aren't together at the time of the start of the book. So
exactly. And Suzanne does a really good job of crafting the second chance romance in The Do-Over. So definitely check it out if you're a fan of second chance, if you're a fan of going back to school and doing things differently and maybe getting over your fear of going back to school. So The Do-Over by Suzanne Park delivers a sweet, meant to be back to school second chance romance. Check it out.
I will. That sounds so cute. I like it. And I like that she used to be a comedian. That's really cool.
Yes.
I like seeing how authors, their other lives.
yes. And that's a strength of Suzanne's, is the calm in her rom-com is strong.
I love it. That should be on her book cover.
It
as
should.
A review.
I'm hoping a lot of what we say in these episodes eventually make it out there into the world as, blurbs on books.
That's the dream, Liz. That's the dream right there.
I have so many dreams, Libby. Okay, so what do you have next for us?
Okay, so this is kind of same church, different pew is what I just described, because you're going to sense a theme with my fall coziness here. So this is another Berkley mass market paperback from the summer of 21. This is Paws and Prejudice by Alana Martin. And I'm breaking my rule and I'm talking about not the first one in a series, but this is the second one in her series, and it's okay because it's super cute. And I've read, again, all of them, and you will learn to love it as much as I did because it's just so cute. So the premise of this one is we're going from New York to Alaska now. So we're in small town Alaska, and we're still going to have the very nice fall scenes. The scenery and the descriptions of the place are gorgeous. You're going to have the small town shenanigans again with meddling characters who were both, in this case, the couple of the first book and then future couples and family members. But the fun thing with this series is it's the overarching theme is these these families that are feuding. And one of them's a cat family and one of them's a dog family. So obviously we're going to be focusing on the dogs. But it's just very fun to me because it has kind of that Hallmark silliness in some scenes that I'm hoping that was what Alana was going for, because I loved it. It was just so cute. But even though the dogs are technically the star, the hero and the heroine are Kelsey and Ian. And they are, Kelsey is all about her rescue huskies and keeping the town small, keeping the outsiders away. And Ian has the nerve to move to this small town with his sights set on opening up his own brewery. So obviously they're not going to get along from the beginning because he's coming in as an interloper in Kelsey's eyes. But the part that was super cute for me and that kind of added to the tension was he's afraid of big dogs. So the very first scene where they meet is she has these huge huskies and he is terrified. And so it just was very cute and still, not that being afraid of dogs is cute. I totally understand being afraid of big dogs, but there was just something very silly and yet charming about it. And it kind of kept pulling into his vulnerability. So I really liked how Alana Martin did the character development with this. And basically, she is going to spend time with Ian, and he's going to get more comfortable with the dogs. And then she's going to realize that he's not really this awful outside monster that she portrayed him to be. And because of their friends and family, she kind of gets tricked into helping him get his brewery started. So just a really, again, not too much conflict, but it was a nice light read. Again, I would say it was fall brain candy because it's just, I don't know. I just like stories like this where going into it, you're going to be cozy, you're going to be happy, and life can be complicated enough. So that's why I like books like this, is you can just sit back and enjoy and know it's going to be super cute. And a fun fact to add is that Alana Martin also writes under another pen name, Tori Ann Martin. And I believe it might already have happened because we're in the end of September here. But she has a new book coming out from Berkeley called This Spells Disaster. And it looks super cute and totally different than this book, but I'm excited about it. Have you heard about that one, Liz?
Yes, I actually made a note to mention it. It came out September 12th, 2023.
Oh, wow. Okay. So
yes,
literally last week.
And what's interesting is that the character in Paws and Prejudice, because I did speak to Alana Martin on Reader Seeks Romance about Paws and Prejudice. The main character, I believe her name is Kelsey. Yep. She writes paranormal romance that nobody knows about.
Yes, that was the other part of the story. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot that part.
So she also secretly writes paranormal romance, which I thought was interesting because in my interview, I believe I had asked Alana if she would want to write paranormal romance. I don't recall her answer, but apparently she does.
She does.
She does, and she did, because she published This Spells Disaster under her pen name Tori Ann Martin. So I thought that was interesting. Another thing about Paws and Prejudice is that there was Jewish representation that I really enjoyed, because Ian, I believe, is the only Jewish person, I don't know, in town or something like that. So there was really interesting exploring his culture in the story. So yeah,
it really fleshed it out more. It makes everybody a little more than just two-dimensional. I just really like her writing.
Yes.
So that was Paws and Prejudice by Alana Martin, and that's out now through Berkeley. Enough about me and my small town obsession. What about you, Liz? What do you have next?
Well, I'm going to continue that small town obsession. Now we're going to visit Blue Cedar Falls, the inn on Sweetbriar Lane, which is the coziest title on the planet.
That is adorable. It sounds so charming.
It is. It is book 1 in Blue Cedar Falls series. It is a cozy, sexy, opposites attract, small town rivals romance by Jeannie Chin, published by Hachette Imprint Forever in 2021. Main character June Woo helps run her family's inn. Again, an inn. Is there anything cozier?
No, I can't think of anything cozier.
And unfortunately, business is down, which is also kind of cozy. Oh, the inn's failing. Let's help it. Plus, June is trying to manage her mother's medical bills without anyone worrying, because the debt is mounting.
Oh.
Then, to make things worse, a bar opens up on the block, and the noise and the noisy patrons and the carousing all hours of the night becomes a problem for a number of the local businesses, especially the inn, which is right across the street. Oh. So June develops a hostile relationship with the owner, who is a prickly ex-soldier, Clay Hawthorne. Yes, I know.
That's a great name too, Clay Hawthorne. I love it.
Honestly, that name is one of the best male protagonist names I found. Clay Hawthorne. I mean, that just speaks volumes. And an ex-soldier who's a little bit prickly around the edges. And it's like, ooh, let's get into his hard heart. Let's soften it up.
Next to mechanics, that might be my favorite type of book hero.
Mechanics and ex-soldiers. Yes. Oh, yeah.
Give me all of your past scars. Let's figure it out together.
Give me your past scars. Yeah, this is telling people a lot about us.
Yeah.
Okay, where was it? Oh, so, and this isn't really a spoiler. This is mentioned early on, but Clay opens this bar as a way to honor his best friend's dream to open a bar in his hometown of Blue Cedar Falls.
Oh.
So Clay is not from Blue Cedar Falls, but his friend was. So he's doing this, moves to this podunk town just to fulfill his best friend's, long time dream. June and Clay's chemistry is explosive, and there is some super sexy scenes that is not typical actually for a cozy romance. Usually it's a bit sweeter, maybe closed door, maybe just a little bit of sexual tension, but this is straight up this is sexy stuff. The storytelling and the world building is deeply engaging. It's a little bit of a longer novel. I think it's over 400 pages. So there's a lot of time to really stay with the characters, and it doesn't lag. You really do feel like it's not that long, but it is longer page-wise than a typical cozy romance. But so compelling and engaging. But most importantly, and this is my mic drop moment. There's a pumpkin festival.
Shut up.
There's nothing else I can say.
That is the most cozy fall activity ever. I mean, I don't think you could think of anything more cozy than that.
No, pumpkin festival. That's it. So that's The Inn on Sweetbriar Lane by Jeannie Chin. You can also check out the other books in Blue Cedar Falls. It is a trilogy plus one novella in the series. So yeah, check it out.
So cute. Oh my gosh, it sounds adorable. I love this. I love the series names in Cedar Falls. Oh
yeah. Oh yeah. All right. So where does the fall cozy romance journey continue with you, Libby?
Well, get ready for this because we're actually going to be at another inn.
What?
Yes, this is totally not planned. So, and this is one I will say I have not read yet. This is Falling In, which I love a good pun, Love by Erin Branscome. This is independently published and it came out last September. So September of 22. And as you can tell, it's a year old and it's been sitting on my shelf for that long. But when we started talking about, get ready for fall, I'm like, I have to read this book. And then life happened and I haven't read it yet, but it's on my list. So the reasons I'm excited about it are, hello, it's adorable. It's the first in Erin's Freedom Valley series. So this is up in New Hampshire. So I'm going all over the US here. So, and as you can tell from the title, there is an inn involved. And so our hero and heroine are Beth and Evan. And obviously I like Evan as a hero name because I have an Evan in one of my books. So yay for that. And I have a good friend named Beth. So yay for that as well. So Beth is a romance author who is struggling after a family tragedy. So as most romance authors in books, and I wish in real life, she just decides to pick up and try something new.
Don't you wish it was that easy?
Yeah.
Although I moved from New York to LA to Columbus, Ohio, so maybe I make it look easy, but it wasn't. But it does. You know what it is? It sounds so ideal. It sounds so
romantic.
appealing.
It's just like, oh, let's try something new. And I mean, and again, we've lived in several states, so I'm not going to sit here and say I don't move. But just the way everything is portrayed, it's just like, I'm just going to pack my one bag and magically I'll be in a new place.
Right. Yes. Like total do-over. It's like, well, no, you kind of do carry some of your baggage around wherever you move. But
literally and figuratively.
But that's what I love about cozy romances is
I know
it doesn't have to be
There's
like
no
reality.
Rule. It can just be adorably charming. So Beth moves to New Hampshire and she is, of course, stranded, which happens a lot to these women who are starting over apparently in romance books. So she is stranded and rescued by a very handsome innkeeper, Evan. And I swear this was not planned. He is also a former Marine dealing with his own grief.
Really? Yes. So it's interesting because, and I know there are other cozy romances out there with former military. It's interesting that they're making their way into cozy romances.
But I think I mean, military romance has been huge for a while, but I just feel like it is just one of those tropes that just keeps getting more and more popular. And I'm here for it. I mean, I love it. So we have yet another damaged hero who is looking out for it, working at this inn there's an inn anyway. So he has inherited his father's inn and it is not what he expected it to be. And so Beth, having no intentions to stay in town long, decides to help Evan in return for lodging. So, and I think it was our first episode, I had another book where the woman ended up basically squatting at the guy's place. So apparently that's the theme with me in the books I'm enjoying is I just really want there to be someone who's homeless, basically. So
that's right. We talked about the hot squatters in episode 2.
That was episode 2, yeah.
What is it? I think you like the vulnerability of someone being without a physical dwelling.
Maybe, because in real life that would literally drive me up a wall and I would probably
I mean it's not
totally
fun
about it, but
be in that situation. But you like it, I guess, and it's always the male protagonist who's the one, right?
Yes, in all of these, it's the male protagonist that has the house or the inn or the whatever it is, and then Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure my therapist and I could delve into that a little more later.
Yeah, I think we might want to do
we
that.
might need to, especially before next episode. But yeah, so basically because I haven't read it yet, I don't know more of the plot, but I am super excited about it because it just looks adorable. And obviously there has to be dogs involved because there's adorable little dogs on the cover.
Yes. Animals are very cozy.
Yes, they are. So I am all for it. It sounds super cute. Again, it was Falling in, I love a good pun, Love by Erin Branscome. So definitely excited to visit Freedom Valley, New Hampshire.
Excellent. I mean, Freedom Valley, it sounds also very patriotic.
Yes, well, maybe with the former Marine.
Oh, that's right. That's the tie-in.
Yeah,
yes.
I don't know. I'm making this up. I haven't read it yet. So Erin, if you're watching, I hope it's okay.
I feel like cozy, I've read a number of cozy fiction novels that are in some way either patriotic or, they believe in God, and there's a bit, there's the local church and the reverend is part of the story, as a character.
Yeah, that community feel.
Yeah, so definitely community. Yes, for sure. So I am going to take us out of the small town.
Oh, please take us, Liz.
Now, I know you're going to ask what city. I don't recall. I think it might be something like Los Angeles.
Okay.
Or maybe not. But it is set in a city, not a small town. Sips and Strokes, a steamy fake dating romance self-published in 2021 by dynamic romance writing duo Sarah Skye, aka Sarah Smith and Skye McDonald.
Oh.
Now, stay with me. I'm going to let you know at the end why, to me, this was one of the first titles I thought of when we said fall cozy romance.
Okay, I'm ready.
So here's the gist. Art professor Lily Maldonado is coerced by her parents to attend the wedding of her ex and her childhood bully. So the two most hated people in her life are getting married. And it's a long story, but the parents kind of, really give it to Lily, like, you got to go to this wedding. Yeah, I know it's a lot. So Lily then crosses paths with romance novel book cover model Calder Ross. Okay. So, I mean, it's every person's, the guy on the cover of a model, I got to see, so he's got the 6-pack abs and everything. So Calder wants to land a dream job as a spokesman for a whiskey company. But he has to prove that he has given up his Playboy ways in order to get this role.
I'm already loving this.
So Lily and Calder meet because he is the last-minute replacement as a nude life drawing model for Lily's drawing class. So she gets to see him nude before anything. She sees him on the cover of the novel, and then she sees him nude in real life before they even have anything going. Of course, sparks fly and a fake dating plan is hatched. Calder agrees to be Lily's wedding date, and Lily agrees to convince the whiskey company that Calder is in a stable relationship by them going out on public dates. The sexual chemistry is off the charts. Mm-hmm. The sexual tension is building from page 1. And Calder and Lily, even though there's a very sexual beginning to their relationship, they really are a couple that you root for. They're really well suited to each other. Why does this book qualify as a fall cozy romance?
Yes, I was wondering.
There is a super steamy hayride at an apple orchard scene that I still think about to this day.
Oh my gosh, a hayride, and it's a sexy hayride.
Oh, yeah. Things are happening underneath the hay, on top of the hay. It's public, too. This is a public.
Oh, no way.
Yes. So that's Sips and Strokes by Sarah Skye.
Oh, my God. Well, I'm adding that to my list, even though I don't know if my anxiety and my asthma could handle a sexy hayride.
And there's really no other mention of fall, I think, outside of that scene. But man, that was memorable.
Obviously. Seriously, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was. Okay, Libby, where to next?
Okay, so I'm kind of breaking the rules because I'm not talking about one book. I'm going to talk about a whole series.
Oh, you rule.
I know.
But as you said in episode 1, right? Our show, our rules.
Yeah, that's true. So here we go. So the series I'm going to talk about, and again, I haven't read it yet because they've just started coming out. It's the Sweater Weather series. This is a new series that just started coming out in August by 7 different self-pub authors. And so I'm going to rattle off the names and titles for you guys. The first one is called Just Don't Fall by Emma St. Clair. The next one is The Fallback Plan by Melanie Jacobson. The third one is Can't Help Falling by Courtney Walsh. The fourth one is Faking the Fall by Julie Christensen. Next is Easy as Pie by Karina Taylor. Then we have A Not So Fictional Fall by Savannah Scott. And lastly, we have Absolutely Not in Love by Jenny Proctor. So the first one came out back in August, and Jenny Proctor's is the last one to come out, and that's going to be coming out on October the 12th. So you have to, first of all, you just look at these covers and you know they're going to be absolutely perfect for fall, not just because the name of the series is Sweater Weather. So each of the books takes place in a small town called Harvest Hollow. Again, come on, how cute.
Oh, first of all, my head has already exploded from all the cozy overload of you reading those titles.
Yes. And oh my gosh. And all of the covers are just so cute, and they're all a bit great. And obviously I like illustrated covers and I like not illustrated covers, but there's just something about these that are just all eye-catching and so cute. And all of them take place in Harvest Hollow. So obviously it's cute already. Every single trope you could possibly want is represented in these books. We have fake dating. They're all sweet romances. We have second chances, enemies to lovers, friends to lovers. One of them is a hockey romance. So come on, I love hockey romances.
Oh yeah.
I'm not a sports person, but I do love me a good hockey romance.
Oh yeah.
And it looks like at least 2 of them have some type of forced proximity, which again, I'm all about forced proximity. So these have been on my ebook TBR stack, and I am so excited to start cracking into them because I've read and enjoyed, I think I've read something from all of these authors. Most recently, I read a Jenny Proctor, and I just really like the writing style. I like the fact that they got together and made up this series together because I like authors supporting other authors. So yeah, I'm very excited to read the Sweater Weather series. And again, it features 7 great authors being Emma St. Clair, Melanie Jacobson, Courtney Walsh, Julie Christensen, Karina Taylor, Savannah Scott, and Jenny Proctor.
Fabulous. I've noticed that there are more and more authors launching books in that way. Like,
yes,
they're all taking a book from this shared universe that they write, and it's I dig that.
And I'm curious to see how many, if there's like overlapping characters or if the only thing in common is this town, because as a writer, I can't imagine trying to write a story with 6 other people. So I'm intrigued to see how that shakes out.
Yeah, for sure. Call me crazy, but when I think cozy, I do think of eating donuts.
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm glad you're on board for this.
Yeah, donuts are peak cozy, and I would eat them any season. But come on, fall, you could have cider donuts or sorts of stuff. No, donuts are definitely cozy.
Okay, good. Well, then join me on this journey to Toronto, Canada. I have chosen celebrity rom-com with a punny food title, Donut Fall in Love by Jackie Lau, published by Berkeley in 2021.
Oh, I was hoping when you started talking about donuts, it was this one, because I love this. I read it when it came out a couple years ago, and it was so cute.
Oh, good. Then maybe you could fill in any of the blanks that I missed. Okay. The main characters are movie actor Ryan Kwok and baker donut shop owner Lindsay McLeod. To honor his recently passed mother, Ryan agrees to appear in a baking competition show, Baking Fail, which is a lot like Nailed It on Netflix, which is one of my favorite Netflix competition shows. Have you ever watched Nailed It?
No, and everyone I know says I should because it sounds super fun. Because is that where they mess? Is that where they mess everything up?
Well, I mean, not purposely, but they have the amateur bakers, and sometimes they'll have celebrities come on to bake replicas of already made professional cakes in different shapes and themes and stuff. So usually it's, whoever doesn't mess up the worst wins, I mean, they're all amateurs. So a lot of times it's really just awful, but they also go by taste, and some people actually get the taste right and whatnot. So Ryan is going to appear on Baking Fail, which is a lot like nailed it. To prepare for his appearance on the show, he enlists the help of Lindsay. Cue the falling in love music. So, Donut Fall in Love is filled with humor and heart. The humor largely comes from Ryan's dad, who trolls him on Twitter.
And I remember that, and it was so good.
Ryan and Lindsay's romance really builds authentically as they spend time baking together and they bond over grief. They've each lost a parent. There is an interesting exploration also of Asian representation in entertainment that was really thought-provoking. And yes, there is a steamy sex scene at the donut shop, but it is sadly not in a pile of donuts as I had hoped. I really thought it might get a little messy. The donut combos that Lindsay bakes throughout the novel are so mouthwatering, delectable. And there's one that still sticks with me, and it's a matcha tiramisu flavored donut. Yes. Which I believe when I spoke to Jackie on Rita Seeks Romance, I think she had found that actual flavor combo at a bakery in Canada, because she's from Toronto, Canada, which is where the book is set. So in my opinion, there's nothing cozier than baking and donut consumption. And that's Donut Fall in Love by Jackie Lau.
His friend, a comedian?
Yes.
Okay.
His friend is a comedian who is in the second book.
The second one that came out, I believe last year, was called The Stand-Up Groomsman. And that had the comedian. And I think, and I haven't read it yet, but I think her friend is, they actually get together, I'm assuming.
Yes. So it's another celebrity romance because he's a known comedian, like you said. And the friend, Lindsay's friend, is a huge fan. But then I think during the course of Donut Fall in Love, the friend gets kind of put off by the behavior.
Yeah, they had kind of the opposite of a meet cute. But so
there was something funky that happened. So you're going into the book, The Stand-Up Groomsman, with the comedian and Lindsay's friend kind of like, I think they have like a rocky start.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. And I'm anxious to read it because I really, again, another great book where the secondary characters were just as compelling as the main characters.
Yes, for sure. Definitely. Okay, so what do you have next? I think this is our last one, right?
Yes.
Lily? What do you have?
Yes, and I'm going to break the rules again because there are no rules on this show. And I'm going to do one title, but it's two books.
Oh, you rebel.
I know. Here we go. So, shameless plug time. I happen to have a book coming out later in a couple of weeks called Faking the Fall. And as I just mentioned, Julie Christensen also has Faking the Fall that just released last week. So these are two great opportunities to have your fall fixed. So I'll take a moment to talk about Julie's book first. But this is a fake dating, again, as the title would suggest. And this is former college crushes. One of them is now a celebrity, Lincoln. And he needs a revamp with his image. And so his agent concocts this grand plan for him to have a very public breakup with the lost love of his life. Well, the only problem is he's never had a love to have lost. So he basically brings in this former college crush and promises her her own chance at stardom. And it sounds super cute. It takes place again in a small town. And again, look at these covers. They're just so charming and they have leaves on them and big cozy sweaters. So this is Julie Christensen's Faking the Fall. And then as I said, shameless plug time, my Faking the Fall is coming out on October 3rd. And this is book 4 in the Buckeye Falls series. It has Alice, who is the mayor's sister. And if you read book 3, you got a very fun introduction to her there. And James, who is a New York transplant to Buckeye Falls, and he's an artist, and he has artist version of writer's block, and he's totally blocked up and he needs to start painting. And amazingly enough, he meets his muse in this quirky town librarian, Alice. So they're planning the fall festival together for Buckeye Falls. And I can't think of anything more cute and cozy than planning a fall festival with a hot artist who's from New York. So it is most of the characters from the other Buckeye Falls books are back. We have a lot of time with Mallory, Anthony, and Natalie are back. But if you haven't read anything in the Buckeye Falls series, I promise you will not be left behind because you can read it as a standalone. It's just hopefully want to go back and read the other ones to see more about the couples in the book that are mentioned. So as the title suggests, it is a fake dating trope. Alice has all of these well-meaning Buckeyes on her back, and James is looking for an excuse to spend more time with Alice outside the planning meetings for the fall festival. So of course they decide to fake date, which is just going to go beautifully well, and they'll hate each other and never speak again. No, I'm totally kidding. It's going to have a lovely, charming little happily ever after, because that's what I write and that's what I like. So so those are my two fall cozy picks that have the same title, but are two totally different stories. And again, Faking the Fall by Julie Christensen, and my Faking the Fall by Libby Kay.
Excellent. And that's a great segue into a fall cozy romance book that I'm looking forward to reading, which is Faking the Fall by you, Libby Kay. Because I can't wait to jump back into Buckeye Falls. And when I think about an artist from New York being in Buckeye Falls, Ohio, I am thrilled beyond belief, because I'm sure there's going to be some humorous moments, because there's a bit of a culture shock between the New York art scene and a small town in Ohio. So I think that's going to be, and I like the whole artist looking for a muse. I've read a few books like that where one character was an artist and they found a muse in the other person. And I just think that those are just, like, it's culturally sexy.
Yes. Well, and I wanted it because she's kind of, Alice is having a bit of a downturn in her life and is feeling a little lost. And so I wanted her to have more than just like the attractive guy come into town. I wanted it to be, really, show her that she's already pretty awesome.
Yeah. No, I can't wait to read. And I look forward to the book release and your launch. So October 3rd.
Yes, October 3rd is, yes.
Okay, well, that concludes the roundup. Just an FYI, our launch day giveaway is still going on. Romance Roundup is giving away a $15 e-gift card to Love's Sweet Arrow Romance Bookstore in Chicago. You can use the e-gift card to order romance novels online through Love Sweet Arrow's website. Comment on episode 1 of Romance Roundup on Reader Seeks Romance's YouTube page. Tell us the title of your favorite debut romance of 2023. A winner will be randomly selected on September 30th, 2023. Be sure to subscribe to Reader Seeks Romance on YouTube so that you don't miss out on book recommendations and bonus content and extras. If you listen to Romance Roundup on Podbean or your preferred podcast app, then be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for joining us, romance readers.
Happy reading, everyone.